Matter and its construction. Unit 1, Lesson 1. Definition of matter. Matter is anything that has a mass and volume. Objects differ from each other in color, smell, and taste. But there are other characteristics that distinguish between different substances as density, melting and boiling points, hardness, electrical conductivity, and also thermal conductivity. Density. What's meant by density? Density is the mass per unit volume of matter. We can calculate the density by knowing the mass of the object, and its unit is gram, and by knowing the volume of the object, and its unit is cubic centimeter. So the unit of density is gram per cubic centimeter. We can make an activity by putting some substances in a basin containing water, like these objects A, B, and C. We can see here that the object in C sinks, but the object in the basin B suspends. But the object in basin A floats on the surface of water. So we can conclude from this activity that some of the objects float while others sink. For instance, the objects that sink are nails, while pieces of wood, cork, and ice float on water. Conclusion. Materials which have higher density than water sink in it, as the iron nails. But materials which have lower density than water float on the water surface, as cork and wood. Give reasons for. Equal masses of different substances have different volumes, but equal volumes of different substances have different masses. The answer is because they have different densities. We can calculate the mass or the density or the volume of an object by this relationship. How? How can we calculate the density? By using this triangle, we can calculate density, which is equal to mass divided volume, or calculate the mass by covering it. It is equal density times volume, and the volume by covering it is equal to the mass divided density. But if we have two volumes in a problem, then V equals V2, which means the volume of the object plus the volume of water, minus V1, which means the volume of water only. And if we have two masses in a problem, then mass equal mass 2 minus mass 1. Examples. Calculate the density of a substance of mass equals 20 grams and a volume equals 10 cubic centimeters. As we all know before that the density equals mass, which is 20, and volume, which is 10. Then the result will be 2 grams per cubic centimeters. In an experiment for determining the density of a piece of cork, as we all know that cork floats, so we will have two volumes in this problem. the volume of water only, which is V1 equals 20, while the volume of water and the piece of cork equals 35 cubic centimeters. This is called V2. And the mass of the piece of cork equals 5 grams. So by calculating the density by this relationship, density means mass divided volume, equals 5 divided V2 minus V1 equals 3.33 gram per cubic centimeters. In another problem, by determining the density of a liquid, the following results were recorded. The mass of an empty beaker equals 75 grams, which is mass 1. The mass of the beaker containing liquid equals 135. This is called mass 2. So we have two masses. We can calculate the mass by the relation M equals M2 minus M1. And by knowing the volume of the liquid, we can solve this problem. So materials which have higher density than water, think in it as iron nails and rocks, also metallic coins, while the materials which have lower density than water float on the surface as wood, cork, ice, and drops of oil. Some life applications on the density. First, water is not used to put out petrol fires. Give reasons. Because the density of the oil is less than the density of water. So the oil floats on the water surface and water doesn't put out the fire. Second question, we use hydrogen or helium gases in celebration balloons. Give reasons. Because these gases are lighter than air, so it makes the balloons rise up. We can use the density to determine the quality or purity of some substances such as gold or milk. How? If the density of the given substance is more or less than the density of its pure substance, then this substance is impure. The states of matter. Matter exists in 3 states: solid or liquid or gas. Matter can change from one state to another by heating or cooling, by changing its temperature. Some definitions we should know. The melting process or fusion. It is the change of matter from solid state to liquid state by heating. Melting point. It is the temperature at which matter begins to change from solid to liquid by heating. Boiling or vaporization is the change of matter from liquid state to gaseous state by heating. The boiling point is the temperature at which matter begins to change from liquid to gaseous states. Applications on melting process. First, in the manufacture of some alloys. Alloys means سبائك. By melting the solid metal, to be mixed with another element easily so it can be shaped. Like these examples. Copper gold alloy to make jewels. Nickel chrome alloy to make heating coils, like in the electric iron or other heating equipments. Melting process is used in the manufacture of cooking pots. Cooking pots are made of aluminum or stainless steel alloy. Why? So they do not rust and have high melting points. Also, melting is used in the separation of the components of petroleum oil. That depends on the difference of the boiling point of its components. Hardness. Some solid substances are soft at room temperature, as rubber. But others need heat to become soft, as metals. Some solids can't be softened by heating, as coal and sulfur. Electrical conductivity. Substances may be good conductors of electricity or bad conductors. Compare between them. Good conductors, they are the substances that allow electricity to flow through. But bad conductors don't allow electricity to flow through. Examples of good conductors: acidic solutions, alkaline solutions, some salt solutions, and metals as iron, silver, copper, all aluminum. But examples of bad conductors as gases, some solutions as hydrogen chloride in benzene and sugar in water, and some solids as sulfur, phosphorus, wood, and plastic.